Hey y'all, welcome to the weekend edition of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where we tackle all those mindset issues, fears, and obstacles that are holding you back from achieving your online dream. Every week, I go live 2 or 3 times in the Flipped Lifestyle Facebook group and share tips, strategies, and tactics for overcoming all the things that are holding our members back. Today's podcast is a recording of one of my recent Facebook Lives. Did you know you could join the Flipped Lifestyle Facebook group absolutely for free and attend all of my live mindset trainings? Not only do you get to listen in, but you can ask questions on the trainings and you can connect with hundreds of other family-focused entrepreneurs from around the world. All you have to do is go to flippedlifestyle.com/FL group. That's FLIPPED lifestyle.com/FL group, and we'll get you added into the Facebook community today. You can also open your Facebook app and type in Flipped Lifestyle in the search bar, and you'll find the group that way as well. I can't wait to connect with you inside the Flipped Lifestyle Facebook group. I know you're going to love it, and I know you're going to love today's show. So without further ado, let's get on to today's podcast. Welcome to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. All right, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about membership marketing. Today, I'm going to talk about let me show my notes. I'm going to talk about 3 foundations of membership marketing. And I want to make sure that I always cover the fundamentals before we go deep into specifics right now, because all of my marketing strategies, all of my promotional strategies, all of my marketing strategies are based on fundamentals, and we build on top of those to have real-time promotions that are relevant to our audiences right now. That's how you make your membership grow. That's how you get and keep more members, is you stay top of mind, you stay relevant, and you're constantly promoting. We're not opening and closing, we're promoting every day of the month. And that's how we get and keep more members, how we grow our membership. All right, so real quick before we go any farther, I just want to tell you guys who I am. Some of you I can see, I recognize your names. I know you're longtime listeners of the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. Some of you are members of the Flip Your Life community. But if you do not know who I am Shane Sams. My wife, Joss, and I are the founders of flippedlifestyle.com, the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, and the Flip Your Life community. That's where we help real people, working families, working parents, start, build, and grow their own membership sites. We help you start a membership that can go out and find 100 people to give you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year, so you can become and stay self-employed, so that you can run your own business from anywhere in the world. All you need is your internet and your membership access code, and you can do that for your family to create a better future. My wife, Jocelyn, and I used to be school teachers. I was a social studies teacher. My wife was an elementary school librarian. And we were just going on in our normal jobs, normal life. You know, we went and got master's degrees. We were set on the railroad track to retirement. And then one day we had something really bad happen to our family. We found out that a daycare worker was actually mistreating one of our children really, really bad. They were locking our 3-year-old son into a bathroom for hours at a time to punish him for potty training accidents. And they were doing this to other kids. It came out later. Some of the people that worked at that facility ended up going to jail. They closed that facility down eventually. But the morning that I found out all this happened, I actually asked my boss if I could have the day off work, if she could cover for me, if she could help me out in some way so that I could go deal with this horrible situation that I found myself in. And my boss told me no. She said, hey, I know your son needs you, but your job needs you too. We need you here in the building. We need you at work today. And you're going to have to handle your personal problems after work. You know, at that moment, I realized that I'd given a lot of the control of my life to an employer. I gave up a lot of freedom in my life, for a little bit of health insurance and a steady paycheck, that paycheck that you got paid Friday, but it ran out on Thursday. And I realized that I was giving up the power and control over my family's future because I was going to this 9 to 5 every single day because I was working for somebody else. And, I took off that day. I eventually got wrote up for leaving to go to my son and got in a little bit of trouble. Didn't get fired, but, when I was driving back to pick up Isaac, I thought to myself, man, what have I done? I've got to change something. I've got to change my family's future. I've got to take power and control over my life. I've got to figure out a way to work for myself. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. It didn't happen instantaneously. It took me a few months to get my bearings. But after this incident, I looked over at Jocelyn one day in the car and I said, you know, we make about $5,000 a month together. And if we just had 100 people giving us $50 a month, we would make $60,000 a year. If we did that, we could quit our jobs. We wouldn't have to go to teach anymore. You wouldn't have to be a librarian. I wouldn't have to be a social studies teacher and a football coach. And I said, man, there's 5 billion people on the internet. Surely I can get somebody to send me $50. And Jocelyn looked at me and goes, yeah, but how are you going to do that? And I didn't know how I was going to do that. I had no clue how I was going to do that. Didn't know anything about online business at the time back in 2012. Didn't know anything about membership sites back in 2012. But I started looking for a way to change my life and to change my family's future. And one day I was out riding riding my lawnmower, cutting my grass, and I was listening to a podcast by a guy named Pat Flynn. And he was talking about how he got fired. And then he started an online business. And he started creating PDFs. It was a study guide for a test. And he put this out to the world and he charged $49 for somebody to buy this PDF. And then he would email it to them. And I was like, wait a minute. Did you just say you're getting like $50 to email someone a PDF? I know how to save a PDF. I think I could do that too. So I jumped off my lawnmower and I ran inside and I said, Jocelyn, I figured out how I'm going to get 100 people to give us $50. I'm going to send them emails. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And she said, go cut the grass. So again, it wasn't an overnight success. It took me months of trial and error and struggle, to figure this out. And I started websites. And at first I didn't have a product. I didn't have an idea. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just put some ads up on all of my blogs. And, I went months and months and never made a dime, didn't make a penny. Right. And I was about to give up until one night somebody clicked an ad on my website and I made 11 cents. 11 cents. That was the first money that I ever made online, was 11 cents, right? I had never made a dime. I'd never made a penny. And all of a sudden I had 11 cents. I felt rich. And I flipped the screen around and I told my wife, look, I created something and sent it out to the world and somebody sent money back. This is real. We can do this. All we have to do is figure out how to turn it into $11 or $1,100. We can't live on 11 cents, but this is real. We can do this. And at that point, my wife got on board and we launched our first content-based membership. It was called elementarylibrarian.com. Librarians from all over the world who taught elementary schools could join this membership community, pay us $49 a month, right? Because that sounds better than $50. Little tip there for pricing. And lo and behold, we built a membership of hundreds and hundreds of elementary librarians. We launched another website, a membership site called ushistoryteachers.com. We got hundreds and hundreds of U.S. history teachers. They would log in. They would hang out with each other. They would talk to each other as a community. They would download our resources and use them in their classes. And we made millions of dollars online through our membership sites. And we built this huge, stable, monthly recurring revenue for our family, and we have been in the membership game ever since. And when you do stuff like that, when people see that you're successful, they see things are going good, they come up and they ask you how they did it and how can they do it too. And that's why we started the Flip Lifestyle podcast. That's why we started the Flip Your Life community, so that we could help other people build memberships just like we did, to create stable, predictable incomes for their families so that they could become self-employed. They could take total control of their lives. And we have helped so many people over the years, just like I'm going to help you today figure out how to do all of your membership marketing going forward, all of your membership marketing in June, what's working right now this summer. We've helped people from artists to accountants and everything in between. We've helped people find thousands of members for their community. We've got members in the Flip Your Life community now that have not only 100 members, but 500 members, 1,000 members, 10,000 members. We have a member of the Flip Your Life community who is running a 10,000 person membership. We help people like Evan Burst over at thecartoonblock.com. He was an artist that wanted to teach people how to make superheroes, and he found his 100 people, and now he's full-time online running a membership over at cartoonblock.com. We've helped people like Teresa Perlyberg. She's a farmer from North Dakota. She's a sheep farmer, and she figured out that you could shear the wool off a sheep and you can needle felt it into stuffed animals and teddy bears, and that other people wanted to pick up this hobby too. And now she has a membership making over $250,000 a year just teaching people how to shear sheep and sew that wool into little stuffed animals. It's absolutely amazing. People like Brad Barrett, he was an accountant, and his dream was to make enough money online so that he could pick up his kids off the school bus every single day. And through the Flip Your Life community, he was able to build an online income, quit his job, and he actually has one of the biggest financial independence podcasts on the planet right now, straight out of the Flip Your Life community. People like Rebecca Decker, she was a nurse, and she helps other birth professionals deliver babies, right? She gives them the best, most current research. She created a community for them, and she was our first $1 million owner from the Flip Your Life community. People like Jason Guyman, he's a blue-collar pressure washer, had an awesome pressure washing business, and he figured out how to teach people how to do that online as well. So blue-collar, white-collar, it doesn't matter. Any idea that we have seen that can work, we have figured out a way to turn that into a membership community. And that's what I want to do with you guys today. I want to help you guys grow your membership. I know some of you are launching your membership soon. I know some of you have membership. Maybe you have a couple members right now. Maybe you've launched your membership and you haven't got any members. Let's talk about how you can get and keep more members right now in June, okay? All right, so I'm going to give you 3 fundamentals that you got to remember for the rest of this presentation. 3 fundamentals, and I love it when you guys get interactive. I love it when you guys help me out. If I need to answer a question, make sure you drop it in that Q&A box, or if you want to help me outline the presentation today, because I'm not using slides, this is just me hanging out with you, drop it in the chat. When I say a number, say number 1, step 1, somebody type that into the chat box for me, okay? All right, there's 3 major areas that you've got to focus on in a membership site. Membership marketing is completely different than marketing courses. Anything that anybody tells you about courses, you need to forget about it. It's probably not going to work with memberships. It ain't the same thing as e-commerce. Whatever works in e-commerce, it is not the same thing as getting people to pay you month after month and year after year. And you've got to forget everything you know about anything in marketing for courses or e-commerce or coaching or any of that stuff. A membership community, membership marketing is completely different. It's completely different. And we've been doing this for almost a decade. So we've got this figured out, but you've got to forget about anything you know about marketing and focus on membership marketing. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 fundamentals, erase the past. Here's what we're going to do going forward. Fundamental number 1, you've got to have a strategy every single month for building audience. You've got to focus on your audience. We see so many people make the mistake of only trying to go out and sell memberships or only trying to retain people, right? You can't do that. You've got to go in every single month with a relevant way to grow your audience. You got to build that audience for your podcast. You got to build that audience for your YouTube channel. You got to build that audience on your email list and the people that are following your blog and all this content that you're creating. If you're not putting people into the top of your sales funnel, the top of your pipelines, and you're not focusing on audience every single month, you're going to make a huge mistake. Your membership's going to dry up eventually. Your list is going to fall apart, and you're not going to do it. So if you're a membership owner, right, the members are the people that have filtered through your audience, right, to your email list into your membership site. So as we go into every single month, whether it's June, July, August, September, whatever, we have to be thinking audience first. We got to get some traffic. We got to build that audience, okay? And if you're struggling with launching your membership, if you're struggling with maybe you've got it out there and released and you can't find those first few members, you might not be putting enough audience into your content to make it happen. So we got to figure out how to do that first. All right, so that's step number 1. Fundamental number 1 for membership marketing is you've got to grow your audience. All right, step number 2, you have to turn your audience into members. You have to turn your audience into members. And you've got to do that at what we call the point of least resistance or the price of least resistance. We see so many people that have an awesome, outstanding membership, and it's almost like a castle on a hill. Right? They got this big castle. They got this big moat around it. They got spikes sitting in the dirt all the way around their membership and this beautiful content and course area and community. And they're doing member calls and all these things. And they're like, why do more people not come in? Well, you've made it too hard for people to join, right? You've got to have some kind of way to get more members faster. Usually that's through what we call trials, okay? It could be free trials, dollar trials, $7 for 7 days. But you got to figure out how to get more members faster. You got to open the doors, right? Maybe you have an open house where you show people around your membership. Maybe you got to let people in the doors, though, and see what's inside. Memberships are a different thing. A course, you can describe it, right? You put a sales page up, you can kind of describe it. Benefits, results, all those things. Coaching, it's pretty obvious what you're getting. You're getting that one-on-one time. But a membership, a community, your customer has to feel it, right? Because it's a living, breathing, evolving thing, not some static, dead course that nobody's ever going to take. You may have courses in your membership, but you're also going to have a community of members who are hanging out and helping each other. You're going to be leading that community, and you really need people to try it to kick the tires if you're going to do that. So it's not about getting that full price up front. It's not about getting annual sales so that you feel good and live launch to launch. It's about letting people come in and getting a feel for what you're doing. That's how you turn audience into members. Jocelyn and I were looking at our numbers this week, and this week alone, coming up, we have 200 trials that are about to renew inside of the Flip Your Life community. How cool is that? I mean, this is going to be a good week, right? Some of those people might not stick around, but we have over 200 trials getting ready to renew at our normal monthly price. And that's because we did a promotion, a few weeks ago, planted those seeds for harvest today, and those people came in like gangbusters. The promotion it was a bonus plus a free trial. They all jumped in, and now all those people are going to renew. We have over 200 of those waiting on us. Imagine if you had a $50 a month membership, right? And 1 week you had 200 people about to renew. Like 200 times 50, that's $10,000 a month. That's what's possible when you strategically build an audience and then try to turn your audience into members as fast as possible. And then the third foundation, the third fundamental, the third leg of your membership is you have to turn your members into a community. See, here's what a lot of people do online. They make it all about them and their ego, and they make it all about sitting on the hood of their Lamborghini and renting their Airbnb mansion and living on a beach in Thailand for $7 a day, right? And it's all about me. And you can usually tell these people because if you look at their Instagram, they got more selfies than pictures of their kids. You know what I'm saying? You know those people? Well, those people, right, it's all about them. They get the money, they go away. But that's not what a membership is really about. A membership is about community. A membership is uniting the people in your community together so that they have friends, so that they have content, so that they have leadership, and that they're able to pay month after month and year after year. We don't just want to get a customer. We want to create a forever customer through community. And those are the three fundamentals that we look at when we create all of our promotions in our company, all of our ads, all of our webinars, all of anything is how are we going to grow our audience this month right now, right? How are we going to get our audience to become members right now? The least resistance, move from here to here as fast as possible. It's not about just making sales. It's about turning them in to members. And then it's about turning those members, that group of people that are spread out all over the world. We have hundreds and hundreds of members in every U.S. state and like 30 countries or something like that in the Flip Your Life community. How do we turn those members into a real community? There's people in this chat room right now, I bet, in the Flip Your Life community, and you know other people that are in the same chat, right? I've literally met some of the people who are probably in this chat right now. I've met Ben. I've met Crystal in person. That's because we get out there and we have a community. We get on Zoom calls. We do member calls. We hang out, right? If you can go out and find, 1,000 people for an audience, and you can turn a couple hundred of them into emails, and you can turn 100 people into members, and you build in that community where those people don't leave, then not only do you have 100 people that pay you $50 a month to make $60,000 a year, but you have stable, predictable income. Back in March, when the whole world started shutting down and the economy started closing, and we saw restaurants and stores and everything else shut down, and we see even today the economic turmoil that's happening in our country and in the world. We looked at each other, me and Jocelyn looked at each other and said, it's going to be all right. We're fine. Our risk is spread out, right? We have dozens of members in every state and in multiple countries. We've got lots of different people paying us. And you know what the crazy thing that happened was? Nobody quit. Churn didn't go up. Nothing happened. Our community was strong. It had its own living, breathing momentum and heartbeat. And our company has actually grown. While everybody else was laying people off over the past few months, we've hired 3 new people full time. into our company. And that's the power of memberships, and that's the power of membership marketing. And if you get the marketing right, you will constantly replace attrition and anyone that leaves, and your company will constantly grow. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause just for a second. We're about to go into our June marketing. I'm going to tell you what's working this summer. This is a weird time in marketing, right? The world's opening back up. Coronavirus is still kind of scaring people, and you've got to be sensitive to those things, and you've got to be paying attention to those things. And if you always want to be super relevant with your marketing. It's not a bunch of tactics that you read in some book. It's like, what's working now? What's going to happen now? What's going to happen next? How can I get in front of my people? How can I get in front of the people that want to join my membership? And how can I get them excited and interested in coming in and becoming a part of this amazing community and sticking around for a long time? So we're going to talk about each of the 3 tiers, right? On how we're going to create community, how we're going to create members, how we're going to create audience. We're going to talk about each one of those 3 things, but I'm going to pause real quick and I'm going to answer. I see a couple questions down here. Okay. All right. So let's see. So Diana asked, how did you reach so many librarians and coaches? How did you reach so many librarians and coaches? Right. Hey, there's only 2 ways really to build an audience. Okay. You roll up your sleeves and you open your wallet. That's it. You can either go out and you can kiss babies and shake hands and you can meet people and know people and network with people online, or you can buy advertising and drive them to things like webinars where you're going to teach them. So you can target teachers and then filter out the librarians and invite them to a training that they opt in for and give you their email for, and then you grow your list, right? And this didn't happen overnight, Diana. Listen, I'll never tell you that this is a quick fix. It took us 13 months of building our memberships, building our business from the time we launched until the time that we walked in and quit our jobs. Okay. Right. So it's a process. We didn't have any money. We were school teachers in Southeast Kentucky. I had 2 small kids, a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. I was buying a whole lot of diapers when we started our online business. Listen, we had very little time and even less money. Right. But we sold everything that wasn't bolted down to get enough money to buy our first courses and ads, right? And we made the investment. We sold our house, Diana. We sold our house and downsized into a smaller house, right? Knowing that we would later upgrade, right? Like we used to have when we first started our online business, we had a 2,400 square foot house, nice little cookie cutter neighborhood. We had our little bitty, postage stamp quarter acre in the back of the neighborhood, right? And we said, hey, if we sell our house, we'll have half the mortgage, which will let us quit in half the time, which will let us grow faster. Because if we can succeed part-time, what if we go full-time? And we actually did that. And we moved into a house that was about half the size, right? It was a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath that had been built back in the 30s and remodeled back in the 70s, and it still had the same trim, right? You know what I mean? When we moved in. But a couple years later, after we grew our business, we were able to upgrade, and we had that 2,400 square foot house before. Now we live in a 4,800 square foot house on 40 acres out in the mountains of Kentucky. And we actually have a private 10-acre lake that we ride jet skis on, and all these things. And all that came from opening our wallets, rolling up our sleeves, and doing the work to build that audience, which turned into members, which turned into the communities that we've built today. So there's a lot of different strategies. We're going to talk about one specific strategy here in just a few minutes that we can use for summer, and that's going to help you guys too. The thing about it is your people exist. Your audience is already there, even if they're not paying attention to you, right? We just have to jump in front of the conversation they're already having, Diana, and we've got to get them to pay attention to you too. I can remember ads. We ran ads to get some attention to our webinars. But the rolling up our sleeves, I used to lay in bed at night on Twitter, and I would type in the word football coach, because I sold playbooks at the time too, football playbooks. And I would look through the pictures of people's profiles, and I would just look for a guy that was standing on the sidelines or by a kid with a football helmet on. And I was like, that must be a real football coach. So if I typed in football coach and, someone's name might be Coach Sam's, at Coach Sam's, I'd be like, that's a football coach. And I'd follow him. And then I'd send a message to him. And I'd say, he'd send me a message back, and I'd be like, go to my website and sign up for an email list. So I did a lot of manual stuff at the beginning. I rolled up my sleeves and I sold everything in my possession that I could get rid of to get the money that I needed to invest in my business. And I learned from people that were better than me. That's how I learned how to do email marketing. I sold a bunch of keepsakes and mementos and things like that in a yard sale to buy an email marketing course. And that's how I learned that you needed a list. That's how I learned that you had to go out and write emails every single day to your list and promote your stuff every single day. So great question. Great question. Roll up your sleeves, open your wallet. That's how you get people. And I'm going to give you a really good strategy to get those people paying attention to you as well. So if you got any more questions, anybody else has any questions, hit that Q&A box. Also, if we're talking about anything, please keep that chat box open, keep that chat box going, and we'll talk about it as well. So let's take those fundamentals and let's talk about summer. Let's talk about June, okay? We're going to talk about what we're going to do to build community, get more members, and get our audience to grow. Right now, we've got, let's see, Diana says she's got 38 emails. I bet you've got some members on that list right now. I mean, I bet you've got a 10-person beta group waiting to join your membership, and if you'll just give them an opportunity in June, right? All right, a few hundred people. Good job, Brooke. It's awesome. 2,300 people. Way to go, Crystal. It's awesome. Chris says, yep, I have a list. I have a list, some from my online, some from my studio. Hey, if they're on the list, they're on the list. Kathy says 450 emails. Chris, 273, 300 people on my list. 12,000 people connected with me on LinkedIn. That's amazing. Yeah, who has an audience of any kind? Who has a Facebook page that people follow, right? Who has a Facebook page right now? Who has a podcast that anybody listens to? I don't care if it's 100 people, right? When me and Jocelyn first launched our first membership, to elementarylibrarian.com, we only had about 200 people on a list, right? It was less than 300 people that we launched our first product to, and we made $2,700 the very first month that we launched that to that very small list of a couple hundred people. I've seen people launch to Facebook groups of less than 500 people and get their first 25 to 30 members just to a Facebook group, right? So who has a Facebook group? Who has anything, anywhere, anybody listening to you, period, right? 2,000 people on a Facebook group. There's members sitting there, right? We just have to give them an opportunity to take the next step. Like, how do we get that attention from the Facebook group to become an audience that's on your email list, right? Like, that's the kind of things that we're going to try. So let me give you 3 things you can do. All right, just a big overview, big picture of what you can do to get to grow these 3 foundations. Let's work backwards, though. Let's start with our community. Let's start with retention, or let's start with a strategy that you can use not only if you have members, but you can actually send this to your email list and warm up your email list to get them ready for what's going to happen in your next promotions, okay? All right, so this is a strategy that anybody can use for their email list or their social media page, or you can send it to your members. The first thing I want everybody to do is I want you to send your emails, your email list, 3 emails, okay? If you don't have a big email list, I want you to post these same things in your Facebook groups, or do a YouTube video about them if somebody's following you on your YouTube channel, or just get this message in front of your audience. But this works really, really good if you've got an email list or a social media following of any kind, okay? All right. I call this a re-indoctrination sequence. We need to remind everybody periodically why they follow you. We need to remind your YouTube followers, Chris. We need to remind your Facebook group, Ben. We need to remind your email list, Crystal, right? We need to remind those 12,000 people, Bez, on LinkedIn why they want to be a part of your community. Okay, so we're going to send a re-indoctrination sequence to them. Now, there's 3 messages in this. I'm going to talk about these in the terms of emails. Okay, and you can translate it into your thing. If I say do this on email 1, then you can go make a YouTube video for video 1, or you can make a Facebook post for Facebook 1. So email 1 is going to tell them who you are and what you do. So I would send people a message and I would say, hey, this is Shane Sams from the Flipped Lifestyle podcast and flippedlifestyle.com. My wife, Jocelyn, and I help people start, build, and grow memberships. We help people grow their audience, get more members, and keep more members so that they can find 100 people to give them $50 a month and make $60,000 a year. And we do that over here in the Flip Your Life community. We're not going to go deep. This isn't a big sales pitch. It's not a sales page. We're just going to tell them who we are and what we do. We got to get top of mind, man. The last 2 weeks especially, the last 2 months have been really distracting Who here, raise your virtual hand, has been a little distracted while you've been under quarantine or lockdown about what's happening in the world? As the world gets back to normal, we have got to get our list thinking back to normal, and we got to remind them who we are and what we do. And we're just going to send a message out for that. That's all we're going to do. Okay. All right. Email to, Facebook to, YouTube to, whatever it is. Okay. And at the end of today's webinar, I'm going to show you. I've got scripts for these emails where I've actually written them, and you can just use them as a template. And I'm going to show you how to get a hold of those. Okay. All right. Email to, tell them when and where they can connect with you in other places. Like people forget that they can reach out to you. You're just a normal person. I'm a normal person, and we can reach out to each other all over the place. Maybe you've got that YouTube channel, right? Like Chris, email your list and say, hey, don't forget, I do a live video every Monday. That's the win. Hey, don't forget, I'm over on YouTube. I got an awesome YouTube channel. I'm doing videos every single week, right? Tell them Facebook pages. Tell them Instagram accounts, Twitter, Pinterest. Where do you hang out online? When do you hang out online? Email your list and tell them that, right? Now they remember, oh, I remember Shane and Jocelyn. Oh, yeah, they help people start, build, and grow memberships. Oh, yeah, I remember them. Oh, they have an awesome Facebook page that they post stuff on all the time. Actually, they go live every morning at 9 o'clock. There's something happening every morning at 9 o'clock on our Facebook page. So I'm just reminding them who I am, what I do, when I hang out online, and where they can interact with me online. I'm going to create more connection points. And then email 3, tell them why you do what you do and how you do it. So that's it. That's the whole message sequence that you're going to send out, right? Who you are and what you do, when and where you are and hang out online, and why and how you do what you do, right? Like our why is a friend of ours named Lindsay. Jocelyn and I quit our jobs back in September of 2013, and we've been self-employed online entrepreneurs ever since. And we had a friend from church who said, hey, that was pretty cool. Do you think I could do that? And we're like, I guess. And we taught her how. Lo and behold, she quits her job too, right? Well, we realized if it worked for us and it worked for her, it could probably work for all of you guys. So if we just tell you how to do it. So we created the Flip Your Life Blueprint. We put that inside the Flip Your Life community. And that's why we do what we do. How do we do it? 2 ways. We have a community where we help you start, build, and grow your online business. And if you want to get better at marketing and building your audience and getting more members and keeping more members, we have a newsletter called the Membership Masters Newsletter, where we help you every single month market your membership better, right? So though I've just told you everything that we did, I'm reminding you, and that's going to set the tone and warm people up for down the road. So this is a sequence. If it's an email list, you want to do email 1, 2, and 3. You want to day 1, day 2, day 3. Send those out 3 different days. Release them in 3 different YouTube videos, different social media posts as well, okay? All right, step number 2. So first of all, we're going to focus on the people that are already paying attention, right? Now we're going to try to get more people to pay attention. Not only the people on our list, but off our list. Got to have a good live webinar in June for cold traffic and warm traffic, right? It's going to grow your list, get new people on it. You got to get out there. You got to build that list. And we're going to get people to come to a live presentation. What happened when we all got locked down in quarantine, y'all? Everybody signed up for Zoom. Zoom went from 100 people, or it went from like 10 million people to 100 million people in like 2 weeks, right? And everybody's using FaceTime. Everybody's using Zoom. Everybody's using all those things, right? Everybody's doing online content, virtual classes. The public has never been more educated about how to get online and watch you give a presentation right now. What are you doing right now? You're here hanging out with me on this presentation. It's an online presentation, right? So you need to be doing a webinar in June. You need to be explaining and doing core content. The second week of June, I'm going to be doing a full-blown workshop to help people who are course creators transition into memberships. I got my webinar on the books. It's scheduled. It's ready to go. And if you want to get more traffic, if you want to build your audience, you want to expand your reach, you need to do some kind of live webinar training in June. There's never been a better time to do that. Okay. All right. So 1, we're going to work on retention, right? We're going to work on our list. We're going to warm up our audience that's already paying attention to us with that re-indoctrination sequence. 2, we're going to work on traffic. We're going to work on building our audience. We're going to do a live webinar. We're going to do a live training. We're going to get people to spread the word. Anybody that's already paying attention, we want them to come. We want them to tell their friends, get them to come. We want to run some ads. I want you to get out there and try to grow your list through a webinar, teaching core content. All right. And the last thing that I'm going to say that's going to work really, really well, and this is from experience, y'all. I've been doing this now, almost 10 years we've had memberships, right? Almost 10 years we've been doing this. Helped thousands of people start memberships. And I can tell you right now in June, what's going to work really well is a quarterly seasonal sale. A quarterly seasonal sale. If you're about to launch your membership, you want to have a summer launch party, right? If you want to sell more memberships, you need to take that monthly plan and be like, hey, we're going to offer a quarterly plan. Seasons are a great time for people to think about doing new things, think about changing. We got spring, we got summer, we got fall, and we've got winter, right? So if you've got a quarterly plan, let's say you got a monthly plan that's $100 a month. I'm just going to grab that. If you got a $100 a month plan, that's $300 a quarter if they stayed 3 months. Offer it to them for 50% off. Hey, if you sign up front, I'll give you 50% off, $149 a quarter. That's a recurring membership every quarter. It's a great opportunity at the beginning of a season to get a bunch of ad money, to get a bunch of cash coming into your community, offering people a really huge deal, right? And that's going to give you money to fuel your summer promotions down the road. If you're about to launch, there's no better offer than a quarterly price to launch. Hey, the first people that get in get this 50% off forever. And it's also a great way to upgrade your monthly members into a longer plan so that you've got more cash flow, you've got better percentages that you can work with, and you can kind of tell the future of how much cash you're going to have in the quarter. So that's what I know is going to work in June. I've based all of our planning on it. I've based everything on that. We're going to do that webinar the second week. We're going to have a re-indoctrination sequence fire out 1 week in June. We're going to do a webinar. We're going to have a summer sale, quarterly memberships. We're really going to focus on quarterly memberships next month. And those are the things, because of everything going on in the world, because of all my experience helping people with memberships, I know are going to work this year. Okay? All right, y'all. That is all the time we have for today's Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I hope that I helped you overcome some mindset challenges. I hope I helped you break through some fears. I hope that I helped you leap over some obstacles that are holding you back from your online dream. It is our mission here at Flipped Lifestyle to help as many families as possible find the freedom that we have through online business and membership websites. We would love to help you take your next steps toward building a better future for your family by giving you 100% free access to our entire training program, the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint. This is the exact step-by-step process that we use to start, build, and grow our own online business, create stable, predictable income, quit our full-time jobs, and become and stay self-employed. The Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint will help you find your idea, research that idea to make sure it can make money online, create your product, and launch your membership site into the world. We've helped thousands of people through the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint, and we believe we can help you and your family too. To get 100% free access to the Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint, all you have to do is go to flippedlifestyle.com/free. That's FLIPPED, lifestyle.com/FREE. Fill out a short information form and you will have access today. This is not a starter kit. This is the entire Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint, and it is designed to help you start, build, launch, and grow your membership from scratch. There are people out there charging thousands of dollars for similar programs, but you can get the entire Flipped Lifestyle Blueprint for free today. Hey, thanks again for listening to today's episode of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Can't wait to come back into your earbuds again next time. Until then, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.